Svrn Energy and I are partnering up to donate 3 million Satoshis. 3 million Satoshis to people like you that are watching and clicking on my videos and engaging with this content. So thank you so much for being a subscriber and for watching this content, and hopefully you win some Satoshis, okay? Hundreds of people are going to be given sats, okay? And hundreds of thousands of sats are going to be given away in this very video here. So hopefully you watch the video, hopefully you watch it all the way through, and you'll see those QR codes and an explanation of the QR codes later on in the video here. Now, not all the QR codes are being opened up and released at the release of this video, okay? So just because you're watching this video not on its initial release date does not necessarily mean that all the QR codes have been claimed. So enjoy the video, enjoy the explanation, and hopefully this gets you excited, hopefully it gets you some free sats. It thanks you for being a supporter of mine. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you check out Svrn Energy as well after this video, and, of course, accelerating Bitcoin and Lightning adoption. So, thank you.
We're here, myself, Luke, with my friend Oliver.
Hello, Luke.
I would say thank you for joining me, but really I'm invading his house right now, as evidenced by the giant, wonderful banner behind us.
Yeah.
But anyway, Oliver and I met in LA, and he's running a new company here. So in today's show, I'd love to talk about your background, your personal story. Oliver's lived through multiple hyperinflationary events, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So actually talking to someone that's lived through that now is a Bitcoiner, that's a unique experience. And then also, after that, you came here to the U.S., you came to Michigan, you've been in the automotive industry, and he was just telling me before we started recording that
every third
car steering wheel is one that you've had some hand in, which is just crazy to think about. So anyway, I'd love to hear about your hyperinflation stories and your life experience there, how you came to Bitcoin, your professional life there, and then of course the wonderful Svrn Energy, which we're talking about. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
We're going to be giving away 3 million sats to people that watch this video, and you'll hear more instructions later on in the video. But if you like Bitcoin and you like free Bitcoin, you should watch the entirety of this video to hear where you can win thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and maybe even a couple million Satoshis. So you should stay tuned for that. But let's get right to it, Oliver. So let's get into your background. Where are you from, where you grew up, and your journey into Bitcoin via hyperinflation. So
perfect. Thank you very much. And welcome to my house, everyone. Welcome to our house. This is a typical banner that everyone has in their home office, probably, right?
A giant Bitcoin banner. Yeah. This might be the biggest one I've seen yet.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for inviting me to your show. I really love it, and I think your and ours mission is fully aligned. We, at the end of the day, we talk about Svrn and it tastes amazing. We don't talk about the drink in a minute, but it's actually not just an energy drink. The mission that we have is actually bringing Bitcoin and Bitcoin education. So this is, I think, where we truly align. And I can, personally maybe share with your community and audience some of my personal stories that for some might sound like, they're far away. And this is like written in books, but when you experience it firsthand, it's a totally different experience. Yeah. So, my name is Oliver. I was born in Macedonia, which is part of Yugoslavia. And I had a wonderful childhood there. It was great. One part of my childhood was that I would go and buy bread for 10,000 dinars. And you're like, okay, this is interesting. 10,000, it was like very normal. Or I don't know, it was a big amount of money. And what felt like...
And that's a normal value. So can you give context to what was an hourly wage, let's say? So if a loaf of bread was 10,000 dinars, what was...
I cannot really comprehend how this was because I was a little bit too small. But what I understood was like that 10,000 was like fine. You can buy bread with it.
Yeah, everything was 10,000 this, 100,000 that, million.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what happened then? Because I remember this was 10,000 is with bread. Then after what felt very fast, all of a sudden you would buy the same bread for what it felt like 1 million. And you're like, okay, there's something, wow, why is now everyone talking about 1 million? And I remember that I had a stash of money when I was small, and I thought that I'm a millionaire, and it had 12 zeros on it. It was a huge. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is great.
Yeah.
But you don't understand as a child. You somehow feel okay. This, I guess, like there are more zeros here and there. What basically happened is that we actually had experienced, I think, probably one of the worst hyperinflations in the world. And we're talking about, like here, 2% inflation, 7% inflation, 20. How about 62% per day?
62%
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
So is it 62% averaged out over?
Yeah. So like,
Wow.
I mean, like of course, this is like when it came like extremely high, but it was, it started, I think, in the 80s. And it culminated, I mean, like, you don't hold me to the exact numbers, but Yugoslavia was like 92, 93. This is where truly inflation hit like in the trillions over, I think, 1.5 year, which was basically 62% roughly per day, which is incredible. It's just like trying to bring 1 gallon of water with your hands, but your fingers are open. It doesn't work. You're losing your financial energy just transporting.
That's true hyperinflation. Yugoslavia is an example of that. Another one I can think of was Hungary in 56, and then obviously Germany or Weimar in the 20s is another example. Like that's real hyperinflation. Like I think Bitcoin and Bitcoiners and Bitcoin social media, Twitter, YouTube tends to hyperbolize certain inflations with hyperinflation, because it's like, as with anything, I suppose, like there are orders of magnitude of just devastation, right? Like 2% is bad, but then 6% like we're feeling is significantly worse, and then it's like that's like difference between 2020 America and 2023 America. But then you go somewhere else in the world, and then you're talking to the teens, 15, 20, maybe 30%. And then you have our more modern examples of what people call hyperinflation of, like, let's say Turkey or Argentina, where it's like 100%, 200% a year.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about 50, 60, 70% a day for even just 6 months or a year, like that's my point being that that's like true hyperinflation. That like in the same way that 2% to 6% feels like a different world, and then Argentina 100% feels like a different world to us. It's like I think it's just amazing how even that is so much worse than you can't do anything.
No, it's incredible. And I joke around sometimes and say like, okay, it took me like 30 years to understand Bitcoin, and the story basically to Bitcoin started there, understanding hyperinflation on your own. Like this at that point of time, I was everyone who lived there was hit with a baseball bat on their head with hyperinflation. So this was like the first, I would say, now looking backwards, the first lesson leading to Bitcoin. The second lesson was you
didn't figure it out the first time?
No, yeah. So like, okay,
so how old were you? You were
so I was like 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
This is happening.
Okay, so that's your first touch point with the collapse of a political currency. What's your second one here?
Yeah, the second one is, like, of course, I have smart parents, smart grandparents. They're like, okay, this hyperinflation is terrible. Let's do something about it. And at that point of time, what they tried to do, they would transfer the dinars into German marks, which was at that point like much, much more stable. Yep. And you have to like jump through loops, and it was difficult to make it, but they did.
Yeah.
Okay. Not your keys, not your coin. They put it in the bank. And the bank seized it. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
So this would be in the 90s then?
This is somewhere in the 95.
So the German bank seized.
They seized the money. They like said, okay,
I didn't know that. Okay.
They're like, okay, no, you cannot get it out. And I remember, and also at that point of time, I was still too young to fully understand what's happening. Yep. But I know that it was like a discussion in our family, and I know that it took years to like be able to salvage, I think, small portion of that. Yeah. And it was not like what felt that you can buy a energy drink or something with the money that got seized, but it's like more. Is were their life savings of my grandparents that you can like buy a house or like cars.
Yeah.
Boom. From one day to the other. No. Second lesson. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
So the first time was when the currency itself died. The second time and the currency was fine, but the bank seized it.
It was somewhere. There was an overlap.
What was the reasoning? Why did they seize it?
I think it was something the country said like, yeah, we need money now, or said okay, I don't even remember what was I think it was like something making national banks to private banks, some kind of fight was going on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the lesson was okay, not good. If you don't have your keys, you don't your own Bitcoin or your money. So I think I just really want to underline. I know that we've been like, many of us have been smacked with a different, if it's FTX or whoever had like exchange money on Celsius. Yeah. Sometimes we need like this awakening experience to truly experience and be reminded of this. Guys, take your Bitcoin off exchanges.
Well, that's why, the whole FTX debacle, people often say that, or when FTX happened, people ask me like if I lost funds or like, okay, and it's like, I never had money in FTX. I learned my lesson elsewhere. But the true Bitcoiners never had funds in FTX. They never had funds in BlockFi. They never had funds in these other forms of IOU Bitcoin or fake Bitcoin. And that's what exchanges are today. Coinbase, Binance, Gemini, all the exchanges today, and basically their business models at work until suddenly there's some sort of insolvency and they don't work. And so I often say, and it's interesting to hear you say this, is about how when I talk to people about, let's say there's only 1% chance in any given year that some seizure happens in your money, whether that's the money itself dies or the bank seizes your money, or there's some legal thing where they come after you specifically, or it's a national thing, whatever the case, even if there's only 1% chance any given year, like, okay, so you've got 100 years or less until, we're talking about overwhelming probability, right? And so the problem in your case is that your grandparents can't save for your parents, and then they can't save for you, and then you can't save for the future because at some point, and you happen to hit the unfortunate lottery twice, right? But yeah, that's so okay. So the second time happened, you were older, what, teenage years or whatever?
Yeah, I guess it's somewhere there, but it's
okay. Did anything change in your mindset then, or were you still?
Oh, for me, it was like, okay, well, I guess banks are not as safe, But it was like still there was no other way to like conserve money. I remember like when it's like when you get burned in the sun, like you maybe not will take a better sunscreen or maybe not go like out for some time, but after it heals, the next year, well, probably fine. And this is the same thing that happens, I think, if we're not cautious, this happens to all of us, sometimes. So, fortunately, I did not go burned the second time, like in this manner. But I know that like our families, my wife's and our family, they save money in not in Bitcoin, but in banks, or some of the little bit more advanced generation, they have like money around the house.
Yeah.
And this is like one of the things I think we're now forwarding a little bit towards the present day. One of the reasons why, and again, like grandma doesn't know about. She loves the energy drink. But she knows about it, but she doesn't fully understand. Like this, one of the reasons to make this energy drink is to help her as well. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, what is this guy talking about? The idea is that like grandma saves money and saved money over my wife's grandma. Saves money over how many decades?
Yeah, 50 years.
And she has like she's like her stashes of money around the house.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's safe.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't understand that although she's been like saving there, the financial energy from her money is being sucked on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And this is something that happens to millions of people that we will have to change.
Yeah. And that's where Bitcoin comes in, right? Because there's, of course, and I might get hate for saying this, but of course there's a probability Bitcoin fails.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's well below 1%. But, when I look at this, and I think from a risk perspective, I think, okay, let's say a bank has a 1% chance of either taking my money, going under, or having the currency, any given year. Okay, maybe there's a lower percent chance that the currency fails, I think it's a lower chance the dollar fails, then the given bank I'm storing my dollars in failing. And it's like, okay, well, I don't like either of those. I could take my cash, stuff it around my house, but I think the probability of someone breaking into my house is higher than the bank failing.
Yeah.
So you compare these things, but frankly, when you extend that time horizon out 100 years or longer, it's irrelevant because, okay, you look at a given year, well then, yeah, of course, a bank is 10x safer than in your house, and of course, the currency is 10x safer than the bank or whatever, but you go out 100 years, and the probabilities for all three of those options just skyrocket to 100%, right? Yeah. More or less. And so that's where Bitcoin comes in, that the probability is so low and lowering as it grows that hopefully we can find ways to educate other people about Bitcoin. And that's why, I love doing these videos because my incentives are aligned that, yes, I hope that these do well and eventually it gets more, following, subscribers, income for me or whatever. And then likewise, you got your drinks. Hopefully it's a profitable business for you and your family. But both of us, as you said at the beginning, have that aligned incentive that, we're doing what's best for us, which is also best for Bitcoin. But free education or, this educational product. So I guess getting to that, can you explain to everyone what your drink is and why on earth it has anything to do with Bitcoin?
100%. Yeah. So the typical conversation starter for me is, this is not an energy drink. This is
it's Svrn, Sovrn. It's an energy drink. So and
basically, the typical way I would talk about it, I'm just saying, okay, this is not just an energy drink. This is a solution.
It's a solution.
Yeah. Okay. It's a solution, and you're like, okay, what is this guy talking about, right? So if this is a solution, what's the problem? And the problem is actually what I started describing. The first problem with Bitcoin. I joke around and say Bitcoin is great. It's not perfect. My wife is perfect for me. Bitcoin has two main hurdles. The first hurdle is education, and this is why you have these great videos that you're making to educate, to understand what is the real signal, to differentiate it from the noise. Bitcoin is not crypto. Bitcoin is not FTX. Bitcoin is something wonderful that is going to conserve your financial energy for eternity. So this is the first
the first problem is education, the second problem is self-custody.
Exactly. Or finding if you educate someone, I want to here just stop here's $100, give me Bitcoin. Oh no, it doesn't work like that. You need IT degrees. So the idea with this drink is that basically we on one hand for sure have a premium energy drink with all the good stuff inside, from vitamin B complex, C, L-theanine, L-tyrosine, and but it gets you actually laser eyes.
It gives you laser eyes. It gives and that's because every drink has a QR code that gives free sats at the end of a little mini tutorial for people, educating them on how to download a Lightning wallet. So I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I get this drink. Yeah. I tear off the label. And then I scan it, and then I learn about Bitcoin. I get a Lightning wallet, it shows me how to do it or whatever, and then I have my first sats there. So
exactly. So that's why we try to undress this. Go for it. I'm gonna undress mine. So basically, just peel off the outer shrink sleeve, and there is a hidden QR code there.
Let's see if we can get that shown to people. So you just take off the label once you drink it or whatever. And then you scan it.
Yeah. So, and then comes the multi-layered, right? You enjoy a drink, it's great, but then you have the next thing is you get some sats.
Yeah, yeah. So what's someone going to learn when they scan this? And do they have to have a Lightning wallet to scan it, or if you don't have a Lightning wallet, how are they going to know what to do, right?
Exactly. No. So this is a great question, and our mission was really to make Bitcoin education is easily accessible for everyone. So not everyone has laser eyes yet. Yeah. Before they drink this, you won't get laser eyes. So you probably have a camera. So if you have a camera on your phone, all you need is just to scan it with your phone.
Okay, so I've got my phone here. Yeah. My ancient iPhone 5
so you just basically need I don't know if you have.
Let's see if
I scan good lighting here.
Yeah, we have bad lighting. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Website QR code, Svrn Energy. All right.
Yeah, so basically the moment you scan it, it leads you to whoever has a camera has an email. So like
That's true.
the second click is you put your email in, and
Yeah, that's great. So I scan that QR code, and now suddenly I've won 500 sats, and
Boom.
there's a place for me to put in my email. And so I've gone through this once or twice, but basically I put that in, and it emails me instructions on how to claim the sats, educating what Lightning is, everything of that sort. So it's not just giving away Satoshis for people to lose, but it has that educational component too.
exactly.
So, okay, why an energy drink? Why not... of all the things you could have chosen, why an energy drink?
Well, we have to start somewhere. Like again, like our main mission, like the biggest mission is bring Bitcoin and education to the world, and think of ways how to do it. Our first, like the idea came to me basically because I love working out. I love hanging out with people who are fit.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Compared to Skinny Boy over here,
No,
we got Mr. Muscle Man.
So
So you love being fit, you love working out.
yeah, and I really I think like when you come like to Bitcoin, you get the laser eyes, and it starts maybe financial education, but it goes through everything in your life. What you put in your body, what you feed yourself with, and I realized hanging around with like fit people that they do drink energy drinks, and you look around them. Well, they are typically not the best ingredients inside. So what we try to do, I said, okay, this is great. I know fit like people who are fit, and I know that they're also taking care of what they're putting inside of their body. But how about like we take care of what they're putting in their mind?
Yeah.
So like we try to make an energy drink that on one side is premium, tastes great, has all the good stuff inside, but as well helps you educate you on what's basically how you can understand Bitcoin better, get laser eyes, and then start your journey there.
Great. So speaking of starting the journey, you don't actually have to buy a can. We'll show you right now how this works. You can try it out yourself, or send this video to someone and they can try it out themselves. I'll tear my label off here. Just so we're gonna have a lot of these QR codes in the video here, and that's where we're talking about the 3 million sats. Oliver and I are giving away 3 million Satoshis to you lovely people watching this on YouTube. There'll be QR codes starting now throughout the rest of the video as a thank you for watching the video and thank you for hearing our Bitcoin message. And then we'll also have future videos, future advertisements. I'm going to be talking about Svrn energy and everything. And in those advertisements, there'll be QR codes within those ads. So again, we're talking about aligning incentives, giving you an incentive to subscribe to my channel here and turn on notifications and be an early watcher of my videos, because if you're an early watcher, then you might get some of those free Satoshis in these ads. You might win 500 Satoshis, you might win 25,000 Satoshis, So anyway, you should subscribe, you should stay tuned for those future videos where those ads will have those QR codes for you to take a look at. Really it's just the first hour to 5 hours or so. Yeah. After that, they're all claimed, they're all gone. So if you want those free sats, you should subscribe and keep updates, stay updated for those future videos. So that incentive for people joining my channel, that incentive for you for promoting your product. And by the way, I'm not getting paid to do any of this. I just love the idea of giving people Satoshis, and this is just fun. It's a fun experiment, right? I've not seen anything like this before. So anyway, that's what I love about Bitcoin and aligning incentives, is that we try to make it best for the viewers. It's good for me, it's good for you, and then hopefully also it's good for Bitcoin itself, which is the whole reason why we do this. More people learn about Bitcoin, more people work in Bitcoin, and have their products and businesses or whatever. So anyway, that's the mission. That's what we're doing. So
I love it.
So anyway, what does it mean to you? All these things, both this trifecta here, the viewers, myself, and you, all working together of advancing Bitcoin with that personal background you have in that. What is your vision for the future?
Yeah.
And what is your why in all this? Because I know everyone has their own different perspective of why Bitcoin means so much to them, but what's your vision for the future in that way?
So I'm going to start talking about happiness, and if you try to understand what happiness is and who is really happy, people first to be happy, you have to you cannot be hungry and be happy. It doesn't work, and you have to have a roof over your head, and it's first part. but even if this is the case and you're on a deserted island, it won't work. You won't be happy. You need people. You need someone to interact with, to talk to someone, like social interactions. This is the second part. But the happiest people in the world are the ones that truly, truly have a mission. They know what they want to do with the world, what with themselves, what's their on mission. And I found my mission over, couple of years, like some years ago, and it's just changing the world for the better from like two different pillars. The one is technology, bringing like technology to the world that has not been there and trying to advance the world from technological point of view. And the second one is the social component, helping people out. And as coming to the why, as I learned about Bitcoin and I saw that this is actually, being humble and trying to understand how Bitcoin works and trying to basically ride the Bitcoin wave and try to not change Bitcoin, but try to like improve the products that are there and your ideas.
Build
something.
Not change, but build.
Exactly.
Yeah, build
so this is how we came up with Svrn energy, because it's changing the world for the better through the technology that we have here. Because it's what you just point out. Scan the QR code for everyone. 3 clicks and you get Bitcoin.
That's the brilliant thing about it. It's like anyone can do it. Someone that has, anywhere in the world can just scan one of these, no matter their education level.
Exactly.
They can instantly start the process, right?
And this is like that's the technology part.
Yeah, that's the technology part. Yeah. It gives an equal playing field in that sense.
For everyone.
You don't have to have a U.S. passport or visa or whatever to go to some expensive conference somewhere else in the world. You can just, but whether it's through this or whatever, like just scanning a QR code, it's like, that's the crazy thing to me is that there are less people, I think this is right, but I think today there are less people without cell phones than without toilets, right? So like even cell phones and the cameras, the ability to scan this is like more prevalent than like plumbing. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, all that to say, I'm kind of rambling on, but all that to say is like, it's just, to your point about technology making lives better and increasing the stage or the platform for people to have happiness. It's like, it's just amazing thinking about how the things that have been built over the last decades, like cell phones and like smartphones and like these QR codes, now can lead to that next step. So
that's so the mission is there. We have a technology and the mission is really to bring education and Bitcoin to the world. So you scan the QR code, you already get first exposure with laser eyes. Yes, we have like links where you can educate yourself, but you already start. We have like couple of educational small steps that you can like go through that you understand differentiating already the signal from the noise. What is Bitcoin? What's the difference like from fiat? And that's why I hope like they will get support from the community, getting this product out there, because our mission is really not, as a company we have to survive somehow to make profit, but
I can empathize with that.
But the idea is really not like we're not mainly profit driven, we're mission driven. We want to make sure that these energy drinks gets in as many hands as possible. Not because we're gonna make money out of it. If eventually this starts selling in millions, but we will change the world for the better. We'll bring education to millions of people to help them out.
Well, I like to again, aligning incentives. Yes, it's a mission, and I fully am on board with you with that. But I think about like, okay, every can I buy this is a chance to win 1 million sats, right?
Yep.
I don't think we mentioned that, but
yep.
So like, how many sats are behind each of these QR codes? It ranges from like 500 to 1 million, right?
So we have like the lowest. So first of all, we made sure that each can has a QR code.
Yeah.
That there is no exception. Yeah. So each can must have a QR code because the idea
So every can has free Satoshis.
Every can.
Which we were at the LA conference and I forget who it was, but someone came up to me and I was telling them about this. And they're like, wait, I've had like 6 of those and I threw them all away. Yeah. Right? And they were like the look on their face, like, no! Anyway, but I like that you've gamified this, and that's what we're trying to do with the videos is like people, and this goes to your whole, back when you were a kid, you were like, oh, I'm a millionaire, you had all these zeros.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just human psychology that we want even though the lottery is not rational, we still play it. Even though we know gambling is always a bad idea in general, it's like we still do it. And the same thing here is that it's like you're gamifying it. You're turning this into like a lottery ticket in the best way. That's not just about the funds, but it's about the education with the funds, right?
I would like to add there that we
Okay.
really are trying. The mission is we don't want people. Yes, you have 100% gamification. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
We want to make it fun.
Yeah.
And this is the first one. No one's with 500 sats, you will probably not become a millionaire. But
Well, depending on your time horizon.
that's true. That's true. But,
Give it a few hundred years.
yeah, exactly. What we're trying to do, but you'll get something even more important. I think you will get the laser eyes, you'll get the education, and as we move forward, as we pick up the volumes in these cans I'm gonna make sure that we put one full bitcoins inside of it. Because that's what's going to change people's lives. But we're now, it's a startup. We just started, basically launched with you 2 weeks ago.
A million sats. I mean, a million sats. I mean, this gets into my whole little persona online, but I talk all the time about how a million sats, you're already there in my view. It's like a million sats is a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if there's 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges, the fake banks, there are 2 million Bitcoins left on exchanges, then we're all withdrawn, all the banks go under, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 million left. That means that there are 200 million, 1 million sat chunks.
Yeah.
And so it's there's 5 billion adults in the world. 4% of 5 billion is 200 million. So 4% of the global adult population each say that they want 1 million sats. 60 million of those 200 million are millionaires already. It's wait, that's all the sats. Forget the companies, forget the Michael Saylors, forget the billionaires.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And then okay, you want to include the billionaires. Okay, there's 24, 25 people with net worths higher than the value of all the Bitcoins on exchanges. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I love the vision of having a whole Bitcoin behind these at some point in the future. But even a million sats.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think people understand that a million sats in 20 years or maybe less could be significant.
Oh, 100%.
It'd be awesome if in 15 years you look back and you have massive success with this and you're like, why do we give away so many sats?
Oh no,
we should have given away a little bit.
You're right. But I think for me, it's really just give. The moment,
of course.
And I'm fully with you.
I really appreciate you taking the time to engage with this Bitcoin content. I put in so much work into these educational services, put them out there for free, hopefully to get as many people interested in these messages as possible and having new perspectives when it comes to understanding Bitcoin. And this is because I think the first and foremost problem facing Bitcoin adoption is the need for education. And so hopefully this video has serviced that need for you. And secondly, it's the need for self-custody. Self-custodying your Bitcoin is extremely important, and I highly encourage you to do it as soon as possible, because as Bitcoin increases in adoption, increases in speed, and increases in demand, not just from people, but from high net worth individuals, companies, corporations, and organizations. In all these cases, the demand for self-custody solutions is only going to exponentially increase. And so wherever you are in your Bitcoin journey, if you are buying Bitcoin, if you are trying to understand Bitcoin better, I highly encourage that after the education, you quickly get into that self-custody route. It's very intimidating for people. It's very hard. People understand where to go. And that's why not only do I put out this free content out there for you to enjoy, but I also do everything I can to accelerate that self-custody adoption. So I do work at the Bitcoin Advisor. If you have an interest in a collaborative custody multi-sig solution, an estate plan, not just for you, but for your family, for your kids, your loved ones, your business, your church, your organization, whatever it is, if you are looking to have an understanding of self-custody, the trade-offs of single sig, of multi-sig, collaborative custody, fully self-sovereign custody, whatever the case, I'm happy to help. Our primary goal, my primary goal, is to help you have a secure transition of your Bitcoin off exchanges into your own hands. Okay, I'm here to simplify the process, address your challenges and your questions, and ensure you feel confident every step of the way. So you can find me at thebitcoinadvisor.com/Broyles. You can book a free consultation with me there. You can book a free meeting with there. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And I care far less about if you hire me or not. I care far more about education, which is why we give out dozens of pages of free content for you to enjoy and consume and learn about Bitcoin self-custody, so that you can have generational wealth for you and your future generations without losing sleep. So if you like some of that free documents and free education about Bitcoin, I'm happy to share that with you. Again, just go to the Bitcoin Advisor, Luke Broyles. You can find my
booking for meeting a consultation with me. So thank you again for enjoying this Bitcoin educational content. And secondly, whether you use me or not, whether you do single sig, multi-sig, whatever the case, please start taking self-custody, start getting your Bitcoins off exchanges as soon as possible. Link in the description. Thanks.
We just, by the way, this is like Bitcoin, everything Bitcoin in this product. So we made
Yeah, you're
21,000
talking about
cans,
that.
right?
Yeah,
So this is
21,000
Svrn.
cans.
Yeah.
Your logo has an infinity over 21 million under it.
We don't have a we don't have expiry date. We have like a hodl date.
You have
here.
a hodl date, not an expiry date. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're all in. So, okay, here's a question for you. So,
Yeah.
okay, if you're, and I think this applies not just to you, but I think a lot of people out there, or a lot of people that are trying to build their own Bitcoin products, this is something that I think a lot of people, this is like a thin line. So, okay, your mission is to orange pill new people, but your branding clearly is very Bitcoin oriented. So, if you're trying to orange pill new people while rewarding the people already laser right orange pill or whatever, how do you make that bridge where your branding is so overt this and you're trying to bring them in? Like, how is that not, like how do you battle that?
well, the thing is that it's. I have background, like for the last 16 years, I was in the automotive industry also dealing with customers and trying to understand what people want.
Yeah.
So I believe I bring a little bit of that experience here to the table in understanding, like, I'll give you an example about the flavor that we can like relate then
Sure.
to
Sure.
how.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a picture, not on me. We basically made, myself and the team, we tried 150 different flavors to come up, like to narrow it down to a direction that we want to go. And then the typical development, like for you that want to do your own energy drink or any kind of energy drink, the typical way how you develop an energy, like the flavor for a drink, you have like 3 iterations with the developer.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you say, oh, I want this to be orange, a little bit more creamy or whatever, and they send you a pack. You try it, you say, okay, maybe it's too sweet, too sour. You give feedback. A couple of weeks later, you get another iteration.
Okay.
You try it again. You say like, okay, I want it a little bit more sour. Give feedback, and maybe like the third time you go back there to the developer and you flavor test, and then you're like, okay, now we're fine. So I understood that this is how typical it is. I was like, okay, no, guys, this is great, but we don't want to develop this for us or for me. I want this to taste good for me, but like my mission is to taste good for everyone, for the people, like that's the idea. So we changed it. We talked to developers and said, okay, we're going to do it. Yeah, it's great how you're doing it. We're going to change it. So,
I love your energy when you tell the story.
Yeah, so it's like, it's great.
Yeah.
Let's change it. So what we did, like we narrowed it down from 150 different flavors to like 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had like the first iteration that was like, okay. And then said, okay, wait, I told the developer that we're going to come on one day, do first iteration, like the second iteration, and come back the next day. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, this guy's crazy. Why it's like 2 days? This makes no sense. But just please, let's do it. So we came on a Wednesday to the developer, and we developed for 4 hours and narrowed it down to something that actually tasted great for us.
Yeah.
3 flavors.
I mean, I like it, frankly, and like I don't really like energy drinks, to be honest. So, like, like Gatorade, I don't like. I don't like Mountain Dew or whatever. I don't know all the competition, but I like this. So
Thank you.
You're doing something right.
No, here's the deal, man. We were there and we figured it out. It was great. And then on that day, I took prototypes, and together with the team, we went to LA. What was the pier down in LA? Santa Monica Pier. Santa Monica Pier with the prototypes.
Okay.
And we poured the energy drinks to everyone who was passing by.
You gave out free samples.
Free samples.
Okay,
and just like, so we gamified it. We gave like QR codes because we didn't have a can. We had something like this, a little bit smaller. And we're like, okay, would you be willing to give us feedback? So we talked, like, I tried to reach out to everyone who like had an ear or passing by. Like, okay, want to try it? So
I can totally see.
Yeah. So we have like in our Twitter account, we have like the shortcut video. But basically we got feedback from hundreds of people on the 3 flavors that we developed, if they want to adjust some or improve or do. And the next day, like they worked through the night, next day came back to the supplier, to the developer, and we finalized our energy drink flavors based on the feedback that we got from hundreds of people who are just regular people walking around. And that's why I'm so convinced that this is that it's not tasting good for me, but it actually will taste good for the masses.
Yeah.
And this is just our first flavor. We're gonna have like 2 more coming, Cyber Citrus and Bitcoin Cherry.
So basically, your whole brand is Bitcoin, 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 and your hope and plan and vision is that the flavors are unique enough. You're bringing enough value to the market that you pull them in and you keep them there, right? So that we start this.
And
Makes sense to me.
And the same idea is like with this is the flavor. How did we came up with the brand? The same story, the same idea. Like come up with like I don't know 20, 30 different layouts.
Yeah.
That I would like show to friends, family, and people that I know, and say, okay, which one you like better.
Yeah.
And then also narrow it down.
Trial and error. Right?
Yeah. To see something that's appealing, and we're not stopping. This is our first iteration where we're trying like to make a can that has like a special feel that is like a little bit leathery. It's a little bit different, and it has like this Svrn that is like 3D, and I'm very passionate about how we made this. But we're gonna continue improving. We also have a amazing partner we're also working with. I don't know if you could grab me the can next to you.
This one? Oh yeah, this was neat. I don't know anything about this. But
So the idea is, and for those of you that are Bitcoiners, you probably heard about Bitcoin trading cards. Yeah.
Well, really, they're similar in that. Like, okay, again, to be frank, I'm not a big trading card kind of person. I never was. But, I mean, their cards are kind of cool. And I'm probably biased to think that because, they've got Bitcoin-esque themes. But, I mean, to me, like, that product has just been absurdly successful the last year or whatever. And they're only a year old.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm very interested to see, like, is there any market for that aren't Bitcoiners, but they like it just because the cards are super great? Because, the Bitcoin trading card cards are, like, legit professional, like, same tier craftsmanship as, the top Pokemon or whatever's the famous cards. Anyway, and so I guess all I have to say is, like, to the earlier point about bringing in the normies, bringing in the pre-coiners.
Yeah.
It's just by executing at excellent quality, perhaps. And I don't know, it's interesting. So anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's great. I mean, the point was like, I mean,
it's in a nice little box.
Yeah. So like the story behind it is like I was not into any kind of trading cards before I met Aladdin. Aladdin is the founder and CEO of Bitcoin Trade. Amazing person in every sense. Like from like personally wonderful human being to like incredibly talented and basically his trading cards are like on one side you have like this amazing work of art, and on the other side you have like explanation
the little
about
orange pilling.
The orange pilling. So we're like, okay, let's try to work this out. So we came up with like this special edition where we partner up and we have like basically a energy drink that inside like that is paired with the educational part from the Bitcoin trading card. So this is just our first endeavor together to start something special, something that has not been done, putting a educational Bitcoin trading card on an energy drink. And we heard very much very, very positive feedback.
It's pretty cool.
So we're gonna try to continue our collaboration, and then in this way continue expand basically the brand, and again like the outreach, orange peeling as many people as possible.
I love, and the same thing with the trading cards, but I love the humor in these.
So
like BTC calories 21 million, vitamin BTC, calcium, Lambo hydrogen.
It's
potassium GFY. 69 grams.
Exactly. That's Aladdin.
Anyway.
That's Aladdin.
That's
guy's genius.
So, okay, speaking of genius, Mr. Steering Wheel expert. Like, I didn't know this until you showed up here, but, a third of the steering wheels in the world. Like, tell me more about that. Just because it's like, okay, I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's
like so. I mean, how many cars is that? There are what, 2.5 billion cars?
So like, there are around 100 million cars made per year.
100 million cars a year. So 30 million people a year are steering your steering wheels.
Well,
More or
yeah,
less. Yeah.
I was well, yeah.
I mean, there's a team and all that,
Yeah,
of course. But
yeah.
So okay, so obviously this is not your first endeavor here. Tell us about your management of steering wheels
Sure.
in these cars in the automotive industry.
Yeah, so like I mean like most of us, we have to start somewhere. I
Yeah.
start like
Well, this is what you did. Leaving Europe, coming to America.
Yes.
This was your American dream. Leaving hyperinflation behind
yeah.
and building here. So.
I mean like yeah, I left I believe I left hyperinflation when I moved to Germany 2019. So
Okay.
I spent the last 20 years in Germany studying about cars, about airplanes, and then started just a regular fiat job. Well, not a regular, actually extremely cool fiat job. I was a vehicle test driver.
Oh, okay.
It was incredible. I was like from being a student and like hardly able to afford a bicycle, from one next to the other, I was driving these incredible prototype cars. Like I drive all the Porsches and Cayennes and whatnot. We're developing brakes for them. And so starting from a small vehicle test guy, I worked the ranks over the last 16 years, ending up in another Fiat company that is simply making steering wheels. And I was the global product line lead, like the vice president for the business that was $1.6 billion business, which is huge. And it was, I mean, it was interesting, it's interesting because it combines again technology with bringing people together.
Well, it's interesting because it's something that's so tangible, right? It's like, those 33, those, or I forget what you said. But,
30 million bills.
Yeah, those 30 million people are like,
Oh.
they literally have your hands
Yes.
on your product for like hours a day. That's just so, it's one of the things, I mean, probably besides their phone and, the clothes they wear, and, a few other things, it's like, that's something that they're in front of. I mean, obviously, I'm getting a little, hyperbolic there, but it's interesting to think about that. It's like, we take these things for granted, and it's like somebody had to design that steering wheel you sit in front of.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well, I joked that to him when I arrived here, because, I drove a couple hours to get here. I mean, it's like, oh wow, maybe my own steering wheel.
Yes.
It's like you're the guy that's behind it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like again, I would be like I want to give credit to everyone that is in the team. I was but I was.
So what specifically did you were vice president? You're overseeing it. Like, were you finance, engineering, final sign off, just project management?
It's the business unit.
Yeah, the whole business.
Yeah. So basically, but there are like many. Yes, it was. I was strongly engineering driven, but not to get into the details of how the corporation is structured.
Yeah.
We basically were a big team. We're like basically like I don't know, engineering team of 800 people that were working together and figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Like from how we're gonna like satisfy the customers up to how the steering wheel feels. That's why this feels a little different. Yeah, so
business management, design, engaging with the clients. Yeah.
So that's why I really think like that I can bring like this like capability of leadership and like structure into putting like laser eyes and laser focus in planning to make something happen. We basically came like we made this in 4 months. Typical development.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You were, especially in LA, you were telling me about the speed at which you're making this.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone is impressive. Anyway, so 4 months. Get into that story because you have some funny stories. I don't know if you want to say on camera, but
sure.
Both highs and lows of the process of making this business.
Oh yeah, well, they're like. I mean, first of all, I think like everything that you have is that it's always easier to connect the dots looking backwards, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's I think so important to have a clear mission and vision, and start with the end in mind. And the end in mind was when we came together as a team and had the investors on board. The end in mind was we're going to launch the Pacific Bitcoin Conference.
Got it.
So it was 4 months.
Early October this year, 2023. Yep.
Yeah. So this was, and man, ups and downs, like from the canning process to putting the QR codes here. The QR code like on this one is a little bit lower than it's here. Right, so it's so it's slightly lower.
Yeah.
Then making sure that we have like QR codes on all the cans, that the QR codes are working, that this thing is not wrinkled like this but it looks actually nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many hurdles in doing something like this, putting a QR code on a product, on a can, has never been done before. In no can in the world. So this was basically, again, groundbreaking, and then something that we had to work with a great supplier and manufacturer. It's Power Brands and BevPack. They're really were supportive along the way to make sure that we are have our product ready, because this is something like this is never been done before. So along the way we had like many downs, many unslept nights, but today we have a product we're proud of, and we're going to continue improving and bringing hopefully cool premium energy drinks with Bitcoin and Bitcoin education with each one of them.
That's great. Well, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I've really enjoyed this. I want to hear more about your automotive stuff, but I think that's all the time we have for now. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for your time. Hopefully you've seen these QR codes throughout the video and got it. If you were early, you got one of those. But again, subscribe to my videos, because he and I are going to be posting a lot of short ads within the rest of my videos in the coming months here, where there'll be free sats there. So gamifying the energy drinks, gamifying my videos, rewarding my most loyal fans and subscribers or whatever, and hopefully educating people in the process. We did one of these already, and people were messaging me telling me that, hey, thanks, Luke, for doing this. I finally took my first step and got lightning wallets. And I was like, yes, that's the point, right?
That's the point.
Yeah. So anyway, 3 million sats. We're giving those all away. Svrn Energy, if you want to support them, try out their drink. Their website's in the description. You can learn more about that, or just Google it, Svrn Energy. And I can't think of anything else. Anything to close us out about?
I would really want to thank you for this opportunity, to share with your audience. Like, it's great, the energy drink, but like to share our mission. I think this is something that combines us very well, and really appreciate it. So I thank you. I thank your audience. If there is, please feel free to go to SVRNenergy.com and check us out, or any kind of outlet. If it's Twitter, Instagram, go out there. But I also want to give a small, give out to your audience. So if you and to you,
I just got 1,000 sats.
Yeah, see, it's happening.
There we go.
But beyond this, for everyone who would like to, who's listening to this video and would like to order some, I would be, for you inviting me here, we would give out a promotional code. Luke 10, and then your audience gets 10% off of their orders.
Oh, awesome! Okay, there you go. That's a pleasant surprise. 10% off.
Yeah,
that's even more sats.
Yeah, just try it out.
That's very nice of you.
Just try it out, guys. Try it out. Give it to your friends. Try it to Orange Pill. This is, I think,
and given your muscles and your energy, I mean, you're clearly doing something right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
See you next time.
See ya.